Boom! Back in your lives. Great Canadian Fight Show, episode 25. We're back. So one half your co-host reporting live from beautiful Calgary, Alberta. Joined as always by my co-host, the brilliant Kyle Allen. How are we doing tonight, baby?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. The usual. But yeah, pretty exciting after that weekend of fights. Most of the fights were very, very good. There might have been one snoozer on board there, but overall, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit and discuss some things. But yeah, man, we're doing good.
Getting into it, we shall. Man, I'm coming in hot, Kyle. I got to say, we owe a lot to Charles Oliveira, man, because that was a hell of a performance in the main. Like, you can't get a more exciting first round than that. If he doesn't come through with this, man, I mean, a lot of people tuning in for the first time, like they're gone forever as fans because that Coleman event was atrocious, Kyle. Can you think of a worse fight in history?
Uh, I mean, there's a few up there. There's like the Derek Lewis and Ngannou fight. That was pretty lackluster. And then you got like the Izzy and Romero fight was pretty lackluster. And then the other one would be like Anderson Silva and Damian Maya. Those are the three off the top of my head that were close, but this one might have took the cake.
For me, those were fun, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, before we get into that atrocity, let's go to the main event. Kyle, Charles Oliveira beats Justin Gaethje via rear naked choke in round number one. He becomes the number one contender for the UFC lightweight championship, and he's going to fight, I guess, whoever the UFC comes next. But holy crap, what a fight. Kyle, what'd you think of Charles Oliveira, man? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Coming into this fight, I kind of knew I was pretty positive he was going to win. But yeah, he has the exact same strategy the last couple of fights. He takes some damage early, but then keeps coming forward, keeps like clinching and throwing short shots, rocks pretty much all of them in the first round the same, gets their back and takes them out.
Man,
But
he starts the fight and he hits and he clocks Gaethje in the first 5 seconds. Like, who is this guy?
yeah, I'm
Unbelievable
surprised
performance.
he hasn't had like a huge knockout yet. But yeah, he definitely takes probably a little bit too much punishment early on, but he's able to weather the storm every time and get the W every single time, and it's impressive. I can't remember the last good fighter that I've seen that's like so good off his back and is able just to get the rear naked choke position so easy and so efficiently.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he did it to Poirier, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he with Gaethje, he had him knocked down 3 times in the first round, Kyle. And Gaethje didn't follow him down to the ground any of those times. I mean, that's unbelievable. If that's not respect to the ground game, I don't know what it is. Charles Oliveira, holy crap, coming
I
out of
think
nowhere, cementing himself as one of the best lightweights in the world.
I think he's just so confident off his back that even if he gets knocked down, he knows he'll be safe there. He knows no one's going to rush in after him and try to do like get a big ground and pound on him because he knows he's safe in that position. So maybe that's why he can be so offensive against some of these fighters.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, he's clearing out the division. I mean, who's next? Who do you think the UFC is leaning towards? Do you think they're going to give it to Makachev, or do you think Chandler gets it?
I don't think they'll give it to Makachev. I believe they'll probably give it to someone else before him. I think they're really gonna. They might, but I feel like the Dariush and him is just like that unsettled business. If Makachev can run through Dariush, then that's for sure the fight. But I don't know. There's like talk of like Nate Diaz. There's talk of a few guys. Conor McGregor, obviously. I don't know how quickly he wants to turn around. If he wants to turn around in the summer, then maybe he can get a fight. But it's looking like he's saying he might want to fight towards the end of the year in Brazil. So we'll see.
Kills me that Instagram meme that came out where it says when Dana White hears that there's a vacant title at 155 and he does the McGregor from Dublin, Ireland, defending. Oh my God, man! If this isn't McMahon and Triple H, and in the Attitude Era of WWF, like I don't know what is, man. I mean, that for me, that's what comes to my mind every single time.
Yeah, it totally is.
But Congratulations to Oliveira, but on the other end of that, Kyle, we have Justin Gaethje. I mean, tough one for him. He looks great against Michael Chandler. Loses to Khabib Nurmagomedov, but then again, who hasn't? And again, loses in the first round of Oliveira in a matchup that was stylistically, in my opinion, in Gaethje's favor. And I mean, first round scrap, he had Oliveira knocked down 3 times. I mean, in your opinion, where does Gaethje go from here?
It's a tough one. Like he's kind of in the same position as Dustin Poirier. Like he can keep fighting people in the top 5, top 10, and potentially work his way up to another championship. But to be honest, I don't see either of those guys beating any of these top guys. I don't see him beating like a Makachev or beating Oliveira. So
Yeah.
until maybe someone else comes up and wins the title, but a fun one would be like him and like Fiziev. That'd be a really fun fight. So there are some interesting matchups still, but going back up to win a belt, it's a tough. It's just him and Poirier seem like those guys are just, they're one step behind the top echelon of fighters in the lightweight division. So there's a lot of fighters that are like that, unfortunately, but these guys are the same, unfortunately.
Very much like Chael Sonnen back in the day, just getting so close, but just dealing with such elite champions.
Yeah.
No, I agree, man. I mean, I think another one that would be really cool would be if they run it back with Michael Chandler, make it a 5-rounder, give the fans what they really want, right? I mean, can't argue with that. Fight of the year last year, they run that back for 5 years for 5 rounds, over a fight night. Like, man, that'd be pretty freaking sweet too. That's a title contender right there too.
Yeah, or Poirier. You get Poirier and
Gaethje
rematch. Yeah, that's another good matchup. It's been a while.
Tickle me fancy.
They should just do a like a WWE triple threat match. All 3 of them: Chandler, Gaethje, and Poirier. Triple threat.
I love it, man. Triple threat match. I love it, man. I love it. I was gonna say ladder match, but triple threat sounds better. But man, from the ultimate high to the ultimate low. For all of you who are watching the UFC for the first time on Saturday night, I apologize on behalf of Rose Namajunas and Carla Esparza. That was, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Kyle Allen, let me get your reaction to the co-main event.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I fell asleep. Come on. I fell asleep just.
We had a championship on the line here. These guys were paid millions. We had a championship on the line. We have to take it seriously.
Yeah, tough. This fight was definitely just one of those fights that was. I think both fighters just being kind of scared, like not scared, but like just worried of each other's game plan. You could see Carla Esparza was too worried about darting in to get clipped by Rose, and then Rose was too scared to go in to get taken down by Esparza. And you saw that happen sometimes. Rose came in, then Esparza was able to hold on to grab her, and every single time she was able to at least try to get her down to her knees or close to a takedown. So you could see why they're both timid, but in that sense, they still should have done more, obviously. And I think part of it's on the ref. The ref should have kind of stepped in there and been like, we need to see some action. I know the refs have that power to promote that and to kind of push that. So the ref could have done that, but he was looked like he was falling asleep watching the fight too. So
Dana White says in his post-fight, I kind of zoned out during that one. I mean, that's the most like polite way for him to say it. Man, Kyle, I mean, this was awful, man. I mean, Rose was scared. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we respect Rose. She's one of the best female fighters in the world. I mean, it's her and Valentina that are up there, 1 and 2. I mean, man, she was timid. She was scared. I mean, she did nothing the whole fight, but for what it's worth, I felt she was robbed. I felt she should have won. And this whole attitude that the UFC has been taking recently, kind of the mantra that to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Well, they just threw that right out the window, Kyle. I mean, Esparza didn't go out there and decisively take it, in my opinion, but I don't care. It was a brutal fight. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna challenge on that. I think Carla Esparza won that fight.
Let's hear it. I want to hear your case as to why you think she won that fight.
when I was watching it, I would like to watch it again. It's tough when you watch a fight, you like obviously come off recency bias and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I would need to watch it again. But I just feel like she just did a little bit more than Rose. Rose caught her a few times with some punches, but Carla Esparza throughout the fight was able to take her down. Like even though they weren't quite full takedowns, she at least got control of her. She had one or like a couple takedowns at least, and I feel like she did just enough to get the W. Worst case, you could have gave it a draw, I think, but I don't think Rose won that fight.
I mean, I felt that Rose did have the octagon control, and she had some late takedowns too, which, recency bias. Seems like fifth round takedowns are weighed more heavily in the judges' scorecards than early takedowns. But again, it was just one of those, like, we saw it with Whitaker against Adesanya earlier this year. Like, a lot of people, myself included, thought Whitaker won that fight. And I thought it was a similar situation here. But it's tough to take, the crown away from a top pound for pound contender when it's that close of a razor thin. And it's just not as decisive as it should be to be given a title. But, again,
Yeah,
what frustrates me? What frustrates me more than the result of this fight, though, is the media is not. It's not, it's not like bashing them. Jeez, that's the word that I was lacking. Is not bashing them the way that they once did Yoel Romero, the way that they did Israel Adesanya, the way that they did Anderson Silva, Francis Ngannou. Like, for some reason, these girls are off the hook. I mean, am I crazy, Kyle? Do you think everyone's going easy on them here?
uh, maybe a little bit. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say what the reason was. Like you could just say because they're not big, strong men or something like that. That's why they're taking it easy on them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think this fight was definitely should be criticized, but I think they both came out pretty early on and basically like kind of apologized for having such a crappy fight right away. So maybe that helped their case a little bit. But yeah, definitely not an exciting one you want to see. But what do you do?
This is one to miss, folks. As usual, I hate to say it, but as usual, more often than not, a women's fight in the middle of a UFC card serves as a great time for you to go to the washroom and stretch your legs and get yourself another snack or step out for a smoke or something like that. I mean, these fights just don't live up to the hype. I'm sorry. I hope we don't get canceled, Kyle. I'm sorry, man.
Not all of them. There's definitely some very exciting women's fights, but like it's definitely the top upper echelon of the women's divisions that are the most exciting fights, like the Juliana Pena's, the Amanda Nunes, the Shevchenkos. But the deeper, they just don't have this deep pool as the men's division do. Unfortunately, it started later than the men's divisions, as people know. But I think in the future, you're definitely going to see some definitely high level talent in the women's division for sure.
Gosh, I hope so. I hope so. All right, well, let's talk. Let's talk what's next here. I mean, Carla Esparza is the champion. I mean, do you think the UFC run it back, or do you think they move forward onto the next?
Yeah, I think this hurts probably Rose the most this fight because no one, no one's clamoring to see this fight again.
Yeah,
No one wants to see the rematch. Like normally, if this was a close fight and it was entertaining and Carlos Esparza won, then the rematch would be no question. But
sure.
in this one, I don't see them doing the rematch right away. I would see them maybe doing. I know Zhang Wei Li and Joanna are fighting pretty soon. They're fighting in the next like month here or something like that. So seems like that's the most logical fight to make, assuming they both don't have the crazy fight like they did last time and take a shitload of damage like they did the last fight. But I could definitely see that fight happening later this year. So that might be the fight to do. And then you got Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez. There's a few interesting ones in the strawweight division. So I think they do one of those fights before they do the rematch.
I'd like to see Carla Esparza versus Mackenzie Dern. I mean, man, that's if that's not an ambient when you got a long flight somewhere and you want to have a snooze.
Yeah, it could be a wrestling fest.
I want to see Carla Esparza doing Superman punches from 10 feet out too. Maybe one of those will land. Oh my gosh. Anyways, before we get all negative Nancy, let's move on to something else that was an absolute highlight of Saturday night. Michael Chandler, who gave us another NFT sighting. Kyle, we had an NFT sighting on Saturday night, Kyle.
Yeah. To be honest, when I was watching,
Ferguson became a bored ape.
yeah, when I was watching the fight, I totally like missed the knockout. It was like back and forth and pretty exciting. Then I like quickly like talked to my fiance real quick, and then I looked back, and then Ferguson's on the ground, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I had to watch the replay, and yeah, what a definitely might win the Golden Glove. An early candidate for the Golden Glove later this year.
Tough one to beat. Folks, we're referring to Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. It was a lightweight bout on Saturday night, which earned Michael Chandler the UFC bonus for performance of the night. He knocks out Tony Ferguson with a brilliant front kick at 17 seconds of round number 2. I mean, man, this was an unbelievable one. And in my opinion, Kyle, this is the worst case scenario for Tony Ferguson. He comes out looking absolutely fantastic in the first round. Vintage Tony cutting up Michael Chandler, sits Michael Chandler down with a big right hand, and then gets caught with a savage KO in the second round. I mean, oh, Kyle, what was your thoughts on the fight? What do you think on, Tony Ferguson and stuff like that? Like, what do you think happens to him next?
Yeah, tough one coming off. What's his like third loss in a row or something like that? Tough because
It was Oliveira. No, it was Gaethje. It was Oliveira. It was did Makachev fight him? No.
I think it was a 3.
Gaethje, Oliveira, Dariush, and now Chandler 4.
Oh, so four straight losses. Yeah,
all
it's tough.
guys in the top 7.
Yeah, it's tough. He's fighting the top guys in this division, so you can't knock him for it. But it's tough because he was looking in the first round. He dropped Chandler. He was looking like vintage Tony Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
But
Unbelievable.
yeah, he just got caught. Michael Chandler had, even before the fight, Michael Chandler, he kind of told him what his game plan was, and his game plan was exactly what he said. Like, he puts his hands out too far, and he's gonna try to look something up through the middle, like an uppercut or something like that. And yeah, he landed the perfect kick right up the middle, and yeah, tough one for Ferguson.
It is a tough one. I mean, I feel Tony Ferguson, he looks small now. Like when he fights guys like Chandler and he fights guys like Gaethje, and gosh, when he fought Dariush, like he just looks small for his weight. And I don't know if it would be realistic for him to drop to featherweight. But like, what do you potentially think? I mean, he already comes in pretty lean, or would you maybe he moves to welterweight or something? Like, I don't know. What do you think, Kyle? Do you think there's a chance that we see him switch divisions?
Yeah, I think it's it's a little bit of both. Like, he's been in the UFC quite a while, and the fighters in 155, like even look like Frankie Edgar before he was 155 champion. He's a small dude.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lot of these guys are going to 155 are really big, and they're cutting a lot of weight, aka like Khabib,
Chandler.
Chandler, even Poirier is like, he could probably fight 170. He's a pretty big 155er. Even Gaethje's pretty big. These guys are just cutting a bunch of weight and going into 155. And Ferguson's more of a natural. Like, he probably only walks around, I would assume, like, I don't know, 170 to 180 at the most. So, but he's tall and lanky. He's kind of like Dan Hooker's a good example. Dan Hooker's tall and big. He can still make it to 145, but it's tough. Another reason to kind of promote more divisions, in my opinion. So some of these guys can't cut so much weight, or they need to figure out some sort of weight cutting solution. I know they can never like get rid of it, but maybe that's another conversation for another time, but they should try to figure something out.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think the way to do it is that they weigh they weigh the fighters maybe 1 month out from the fights, and then whatever weight you're at, you're only allowed to lose X amount of pounds. Or they weigh the fighters when they sign the contract for the fight, and then whatever weight you're at, you can only lose, like, for example, 10 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, the only problem you run to that is like with the champions and stuff. Like, I don't know how they deal with that. Like, if you're Kamaru Usman, you fight at 170, but you walk around 200, then there's no way you can fight 170. So, what do they do with the champions there? But yeah, there's got
Don't
to be
don't
like,
be the champion at 170.
yeah, or like something where you can't like go over a certain weight. Like, you're not allowed to like go to like 200 pounds and then slowly cut down. Like, if you're walking around 200, then the most you can cut down to is maybe like 180 or something like that, or 190 or
Yeah.
something like that, like 10 pounds, some kind of deal.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, these guys are, again, they're fighting for a 155-pound championship, and they're coming in weighing between 175 and 180. I mean, Michael Chandler, unbelievable. We have to go back to this. I know, I forget. I think this was last year or something when he weighed himself. He was 155 pounds on the Friday morning, and then 12 hours later, no, was it 12 hours later? Yes, he was 180 pounds, Kyle.
Yeah, he weighed himself recently, like after the fight, and I think he was like 187 or 180, somewhere around there.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's definitely like somewhat sanctified cheating, kind of.
It is. I mean, no, I agree. It is. I mean, it's you're not the 155-pound champion, but regardless, we're getting a little bit sidetracked. Doesn't take anything away from from the fact that he had one of the more savage KOs. I mean, the one that it reminded me of the most was Silva versus Vitor Belfort, but I thought this one was even more savage because he was knocked out cold,
Yeah,
and the ref stepped in before Chandler couldn't even get a single other shot. I mean, holy shit. I feel for Ferguson. Tough to watch, but amazing to watch at the same time.
yeah, Chandler is definitely like, if you've seen what he's done since he's come in the UFC, almost beat Oliveira, almost had him knocked out, and then he fights Gaethje in like the fight of like almost probably one of the fight of the centuries, and or fight of the decade, and then he has this fight. So, and it's within like I think a 1 year span.
He's been active. It's his fourth fight in the UFC, Kyle.
Yeah,
I mean, he's crazy. He fought 3 times last year.
yeah. Oh, I forgot about the Dan Hooker fight.
Yeah, Dan Hooker, Oliveira, Gaethje, and now Ferguson. Wow, talk about a hit list.
Yeah, he's super impressive.
So congratulations to Michael Chandler. I mean, man, I really hope he books a fight with Conor McGregor. I mean, to me, that's the fight to make. I don't see the UFC booking him and Oliveira next. I mean, I would be surprised. I'm not going to lie if they book that. So I think they're going to sit Oliveira here for a little bit, Kyle, and I think they're going to kind of let things play out. I think the champs deserves a break, and I think they're going to let Dariush and Makachev play out, and I think they're going to let Chandler and McGregor play out, and they're going to see kind of who has the more impressive performance, and that's the one that's going to get the shot with Oliveira in the fall of this year, in my opinion. And of course, if McGregor wins, he's in, baby.
Yeah, they should do those fights on the same card. Whoever has the
Oh my
best,
God.
whoever has the better performance on out of those two cards or those two fights, then
Yeah.
line them up.
Can you imagine if McGregor somehow beats Chandler and then gets the shot?
Yeah,
It just kills me, man. It kills me. The match.
McGregor's looking juicy, man. They're two juice heads coming into that fight. I'm down.
EP's. Oh my God. I don't know if he's ever going to fight at 155 ever again the way he's looking. He's looking thick, man. Recent videos of Conor, like he's firmly a firm 170.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, him and Chandler, they're gonna be like king upper bod.
King upper bod. I love it, baby. The triangle, man. Whoa. But anyways, congratulations to Michael Chandler again. Wow, what an amazing KO. If you haven't seen it, folks, check it out. It will not disappoint you. Honorable mentions on the fight card here. We had the opening fight of the night, which I thought was a great one. Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams. Again, I thought Chaos Williams won the fight. It was a split decision, so it could have gone either way. But I thought Chaos Williams had done enough to win it. So congratulations to both those guys. I don't think either of them is hurt by that performance at all. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one, Kyle?
Yeah, I feel like this one was a pretty close fight. I think Randy Brown probably just did enough, but competitive, close fight. definitely wouldn't want to be a judge on this one, but yeah, I think he just did enough to get the win. But yeah, no knock to Chaos Williams. He looked good too.
He did look good, but I'm ready for Chaos Williams to take that next step now. I think he needs to work on his grappling and his jiu-jitsu, and his striking is still like no one's going to attest that he doesn't have knockout power. But he needs to be a little bit more technical with his striking, and his grappling needs to improve as well. It's time, you know. This guy was a breakout star during COVID, during the UFC Fight Island days during COVID, and I think it's time for him to take that next step.
For sure.
And congratulations as well to OSP Ovin St. Preux winning via split decision, over Mauricio Shogun Hua. I mean, not another very exciting fight in my opinion here. Congratulations to OSP. Yeah, I don't know. What else you got to say about this one?
To me, I thought I thought Shogun won this fight, to be honest. But he was having some technical difficulties here, folks.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
All good, all good. Yeah, for me, I feel like Shogun won that fight. That's just me, but I thought he did enough. He was hitting him with a lot of good shots, but maybe because St. Preux had more body, like he was kicking his body a lot and doing that kind of stuff. That's maybe why I thought he won, but I feel like Shogun did enough to win that fight. Maybe I'm wrong.
Tough. I definitely think his performance warranted him another fight in the UFC. I mean, I'm hoping really. I mean, OSP is still a top contender. So I'd like to see Mauricio Hua in there one last time. He doesn't get finished, which is very, very good for a man at his age. I mean, what do you think, Kyle? Do you think this is the last we've seen of Shogun Hua?
I think he's got like one more fight on his contract, so I think he's gonna get one more. But yeah, I think he definitely did enough to warrant another fight in the UFC. Like he looked competitive, and he's fighting top guys in the division, so I feel like he definitely will get one more shot for sure to maybe finish off his career in the UFC.
Let's hope so, folks. Shogun Hua, definitely a favorite, a legend. Let's give him a proper send-off. That's our review for UFC 274, Oliveira versus Gaethje, which took place last Saturday. Some highs and some lows from this one. The highs are absolutely amazing. The lows are awful. Check it out, folks. We're going to get into the news now, really. A couple fights announced this week, Kyle, that we can quickly touch on. We're going to get started here with Vicente Luque versus Jeff Neal, announced for August 6th. Interesting. Who do you have winning this one, Kyle?
Yeah, a quick turnaround for Vicente Luque. He just fought like 2 weeks ago, so quick turnaround. I guess he wants to get right back in there. Jeff Neal, who did he beat last time? He beat someone. I can't remember who he beat someone notable in his last fight.
I feel like he beat Roberson, didn't he?
No, I think that might have been Cannonier.
I'll let you know in a second here. In his last fight, he beat Santiago Ponzinibbio.
So, oh yeah. It's a close fight. I might take Vicente Luque in this. I think he wants to get back in there. He wants to prove that he's still someone to watch in this division. So I think he gets it done in this one. But you can't count out Jeff Neal.
Can't count out Jeff Neal, but I am actually counting him out in this one. I think Vicente Luque is gonna bounce back hard, and I think in a guy who's way more strike happy than Bilal Muhammad was, I think Vicente Luque is able to actually run his game plan, which he wasn't able to establish against Bilal, because I felt like he was just trying to avoid the takedown the whole fight. So I think Vicente Luque wins this one, and I think it's going to be a bounce back KO performance, Kyle. Next one, we've got Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France, which has to be a title contender fight. Looks like Figueiredo Moreno, the quadrilogy isn't happening, but Kyle, who do you got in this one?
Yeah, this one's a tough one. Kai France has looked very good in his last couple fights. The one against Garbrandt, and then what was the one before that? Did he fight someone after that? Before that? Before that, right? He fought. No, did
He
he?
just fought Askarov, right?
Oh yeah. So, yeah, he looked super
And
impressive against
he
Askarov.
knocked out Garbrandt before that. Tough, really razor thin decision though against Askarov.
I think Kai France is definitely the dark horse in this division. I think he might get it done over Moreno. Moreno's really good, but he does have some holes in his game, as you could see where Figueiredo was able to kind of open up. So I think Kai France might get this fight done.
I mean, history shows that the guy who comes off the title fight when he goes up against the up and coming contender typically loses. And I think Moreno is really, really banking on that quadrilogy, Kyle. And I think now that it's not happening, he's coming in maybe a little bit deflated. It could just be me thinking logically. While Cara France is hungry and he knows that this is his opportunity, I gotta give the edge to Cara France here, man. Like you, I just think he's got enough to beat Moreno. Like you said, there was some cracks in the armor there, Kyle. So I'm going Cara France as well on that one. But great fight for the flyweights.
Yeah.
Next one. Found this one out earlier. Bobby Green back in action versus Jim Miller, July 2nd at UFC 276. Cool scrap here, Kyle. I mean, do you think old man Miller can run back the clock one more time and get us a dub here?
Yeah, he's looked good in his last couple fights. He's still doing it at his age. So I don't know. Bobby Green's looked good. Like obviously he lost to Makhachev last fight. Tough one, but I think it's a tough one. I would maybe slightly give the advantage to Jim Miller just because of his grappling and stuff like that. But tough fight. I think this fight would probably go to decision if I had to guess.
Wow, yeah, I mean, tough. I think Bobby Green he's got it. I mean, he's had some unfortunate matchups. I mean, versus Fiziev, that's a tough matchup. Fiziev, very technical, and against obviously Makhachev on such short notice fight. I mean, he had slim chances in that one. I'm going Bobby Green with this one, Kyle. I think he bounces back, and if with a good performance, I think he wants to show that he still belongs in this division. And I got Bobby Green winning this one. Last one here, folks, before we wrap up. Michelle Watterson back in the octagon versus Amanda Lemos, July 16th. Kyle, what do you think of this one? Do you think the karate hottie gets back in the winning section?
I'm just going to look at the rankings real quick. Yeah, they're 10 and ranked 10 and 11. Lemos just lost, right, to Andrade?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Michelle Watterson gets this done. I think Michelle Watterson's always been a very competitive person in this division. I think she has a lot of skills. Just maybe can't piece together those win streaks. I'll win a couple and lose one, win a couple, lose one kind of thing. But I think she has the skills to maybe put it together and potentially make a run at towards the top of this division.
I mean, in her defense, her losses were against top contenders. And I think she lost to Joanna and she lost to, it's evading me, but who the people that she's lost to have been stiff competition. So excited for this matchup. I also think Michelle Watterson gets it done. She makes the sport more exciting. So we hope that she comes through with a head kick knockout. Probably not, probably going to be a decision. But still excited to see Michelle Watterson back in the octagon. Last one here. Actually, we had one more. Sorry, folks. A quick one here. Cerrone versus Lawzone, Kyle. Rebooked for June 18th, fight night. I'm not sure if this is the main event or not. Hopefully it's 5 rounds because that would be fucking sick. Do you think Cowboy gets it done in his swan song here?
I really hope so. I think Cowboy deserves to get one more win on this. Lawzone's no punk. He's a really good fighter and he's been around the division a long time. So tough fight, but I think Cowboy gets it done. And I think he kind of rides off in the sunset after this one. I don't think he has to prove anything more. I'd love to see him walk off with like a vintage Donald Cerrone KO or something like that, like a head kick KO or something like that. But yeah, I think he gets it done over Joe Lozon in this one.
I hope so too. Yeah, I mean, I want to see him turn back the clock in the Rick Story fight where he slowed down the Matrix and went. I I want to see some of that Cowboy, man. I mean, again, awesome. Cowboy Cerrone, an all-time legend, a favorite. Let's send him off with a W. We're hoping. Thank you very much, folks. That concludes another episode of the Great Canadian Fight Show. As usual, it's been a pleasure talking fights with you. Thanks for tuning in. You like what you see, again, like and subscribe, and leave some comments down below if you think that we can do better or if there's anything that we missed. Kyle, I'm going to let you have the last word before we sign this one off.
Yeah, definitely like and subscribe to our stuff. We're putting out episodes every week, trying to grow slowly here, but we're open to suggestions. Really want to try to push this thing, and hopefully we're giving some insightful information.
Thank you very much, Kyle. It's good to see you, buddy. Good to talk fights. Everybody else, tune in to our quick pick segments coming out this week. Like, subscribe us on Instagram as well. Thank you very much. Have a great night. And as usual, take it easy, everybody.